I was so close to giving up, and I didn't know if I would make it if I started this new business. Let me explain. So, you're probably watching this video because you're doing something new or adventurous or something out of the norm. Maybe you've always had this inkling in your heart, like this calling, but you just never had the courage to do it. And maybe you're someone that actually took the leap and you're like, "Yeah, let's do this." In the back of your mind, there's this doubt. And what I'm here to do is just tell you that is very, very normal. So I want to take you back 7 years ago when I actually was sitting outside of the Starbucks. It was after this interview for my dream job. In the pharmacy world, I had a chance to become an advanced practitioner pharmacist. It's like the dream role for like most pharmacists. And it would be my final big break to get out of like community pharmacy, retail pharmacy, where you're just like counting by fives and all that sort of stuff. Not really fun stuff. Anyways, being the content creator I was sitting outside the Starbucks and just live streaming. If I had this live stream, I would like love it. But I was on Instagram and just talking to you guys and just telling you guys that, I don't know, like I should be really, really happy right now that I just got an offer from this job, but something fell off. And I remember for myself, like I've always had the desire to do my own thing, to start my own business. I've always been very entrepreneurial. Since the 7th grade, I used to sell like CDs with like music on it, bootleg music on it. I used to sell candy, and I put like the tennis club out of business back in high school. I started a protein company with my brother back in college. And then, of course, I have this YouTube channel, and then I've always showed signs that I really want to do entrepreneurship, but no one really believed in me. Like everyone from like my friends, my family, they were all kind of like normal 9 to 5ers, I guess, right? Entrepreneurship isn't like what it is right now. I feel like it's a lot of people, they promote it a lot. But back in my day, no one really, like everybody was like, you should do the same thing. And it made sense coming from like a first gen, second gen, like immigrant family, right? And so I'm sitting out the Starbucks and I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to do one of the dumbest decisions ever. I'm going to say no to this like dream job opportunity. But what I realized was that, hey, this wasn't even the job that I wanted. And at the time, I'm sure you guys know my story, but just like probably a month before, I said goodbye to my dad. I took him off. My family decided to take him off life support. Before he passed away, I had the chance to talk to my dad and just ask my dad his biggest regrets. And I always tell the story. I never remember what he said. I remember the look in his eyes. And I remember telling myself, I don't want to be like that. And additionally, I was talking to my dad because work at the time, they found my YouTube channel, and my boss, knowing that all the stuff was going with my dad, he decided to open up an investigation on me. I don't even know what the that means, but he basically hated me because I don't know why, but he basically tried to use my YouTube channel to get me terminated, which actually happened. They accused me of like editing during the job or whatever. I don't know, some BS, you know? As you know, corporate loves to spin these things. And so before that, I always had a desire to really do my own thing, right? And so I basically had this conversation with my dad. I remember going to him, and I never did this before because I never had a really good relationship with him until the end of his life. He just reminded me like, hey, Kevin, whatever you do, just know that you're really smart. You're really connected. You can always figure things out. And in case you can't, you can always come back to our family. Just remember that you always have us. And then he passed away, which was really sad, but I'll always remember those words. And I always like to say that that was the catalyst for me to leave pharmacy completely. So I finished up that live stream. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my own thing. During my entrepreneur journey, it felt like I was getting punched in the face a lot. Well, one, because I started MMA during that time and I was doing like jujitsu and all these other things, right? And so there was that. But then I was getting punched in the face through business and learning how to do sales and learning how to do marketing and learning how the business world worked, right? Actually worked by practicing, not taking courses. I bought a lot of courses in the past, but I never executed or tried anything after that. And as I was able to figure things out, I helped figure out like really complicated sales processes. I was part of sales floors where we were doing like 500K per week and all that sort of stuff too. There were a lot of different problems that arose, like not only on the sales side, but even with my YouTube channel of learning how to hire, how to create really profitable content with not so many views and stuff. And I'm still like going through these like repetitions over time, but it's like second nature to me. And what I kind of realized looking back was like, you know what, for myself, it was never that I wasn't smart enough to figure it out. I feel like the main problem I always struggle with was not really fully trusting in myself and my beliefs. I've always had this kind of certain amount of doubt. And I think it makes sense because a lot of my friends and family, they're just normal people. They didn't do like entrepreneurship. It was like my uncle, he thought I was batshit crazy for leaving pharmacy to do this entrepreneurial endeavor. And I thought I was batshit crazy too. And when you have all this doubt from other people, sometimes you start doubting yourself. But the number one skill that I've had to learn over the years is to learn how to trust myself. I was reading Dan Martell's like newsletter, and this is what really inspired today's conversation, where it's like, oh yeah, over the years, I've really had to kind of like teach myself, how do you trust yourself? And I'm still in the middle of it. But I think the number one thing you need to learn is how to trust yourself. And what does trust yourself mean? Does it mean being 100% confident every single time? I don't necessarily think so. Because even at the highest performance of business or like competition jujitsu, right, there's always like some sort of doubt, right? It's never 100% because as an entrepreneur, we do take risks, right? And that is part of the job. But it's learning how to trust our skills, trust our gut, trust our training, trusting that the experiences before will help us make the best decisions going forward. And if we make the wrong decision, it's really trusting ourselves to kind of fix that or remedy that situation. I think some of the biggest things that I've learned to do is to like, one, respect my own commitments, right? And that's the groundbreaking thing, is like doing my best when I make a promise to someone, like, hey, I'm going to meet you at open mat or training tomorrow, right? Actually trying to show up at that time that I promised and doing what I said I did. If my editor needs me to review something, if I say tomorrow, I do my best to get it done. And if it's not done or something comes up, I communicate that over. And I think what happens over time as you build up those reps, you just begin to trust yourself more and more and more because you have your own back. You're not backstabbing. You're not going back on your word and stuff like that too. And that's why I feel like business is such a huge catalyst for personal development because it holds a lot of accountability. There's financial accountability now for you to just like show up at your best. And so I think over these last years, I'm not perfect, obviously, but I definitely trust myself way more than back then. What I really want to say in this video is not to lecture, but really just to tell you, like, if you're feeling this way, it is completely normal. You're not crazy, right? That doubt is really, really real. But the best things that you can do for yourself is honor your own word. Find people who are very, very supportive. Like, you don't want people like my uncle who are just like really conservative and never started a business and who will talk, right? You want people who are on the similar journey as you, who have done it already. Feedback is very, very important, but you know that feedback is coming from a place of love. And it's not only the negative stuff too, it's the positive reinforcement aspect as well. Like if I were to look back at my life right now, I'm just so grateful for all the friendships that I've made because a lot of these friendships, they remind me of all the great things I'm capable of and still have to do, and also give me plenty of feedback too. So I just want to say like, hey dude, if you are on the verge of quitting, just know that I'm not telling you not to like keep on going. I'm not telling you to quit. You have no idea whether you're going to make it or you're on the verge of quitting. I just want to remind you is to like, hey, go out for a walk and also take the time to not only appreciate yourself, but to remind yourself of all the major wins and how far you came from the beginning of your journey, and to talk to the people who are very, very supportive to remind you of that. So often we beat ourselves up for like not having this. We beat ourselves up for the gap when really we don't have to. So anyways, that is my yap for today. Stick in there, guys, and subscribe if you want some more story times like this and just like kind of more positive like community and stuff, because it is so important. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Peace.